Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about Beau DeMayo. For those of you who don't know who he is the former showrunner and head writer for X-Men 97 on Disney Plus, which, I should say the critically acclaimed X-Men 97 on Disney Plus, kind of thing. And today's discussion is going to be more about how at one point he was kind of despised by a certain group of Marvel fans kind of thing, and now that he's on the outs with Marvel and Disney, those same people are kind of cheering him. That's kind of what our discussion is going to be about. We're going to kind of get into some things, and this is not an expose on the person and who's right and wrong. It's just kind of a look at how people's opinions can change on a certain person without even knowing that person, to use them as a prop for their own ends and means and things like that. But as far as Beau DeMayo goes, I had not heard of him until the run-up to X-Men 97 in 2024. It's weird to call something 97 and it doesn't come out until 2024, obviously, because it is the continuation of the X-Men cartoon that started in 1997 or ended in 1997. I can't remember. I felt I was younger than 14 when that show came out, but maybe I wasn't. So he was the showrunner on that, and before he did that, he'd worked steadily in Hollywood. He had done some properties that are near and dear to nerd culture: League of Legends, the Witcher TV series, Witcher: Nightmare on the Wolf, which is like an animated movie, which I didn't even know of until I was researching Beau DeMayo for this. I might have to go check that out, considering I did really enjoy X-Men 97, so his work on that animated movie might be actually pretty good. Moon Knight, he wrote one of the episodes, Star Trek Strange New Worlds, and of course the aforementioned X-Men 97. So in the lead up to X-Men 97, there was a group of YouTubers and other influencers who kind of made a name for themselves trashing Marvel, Disney, Star Wars, and the like. And I'm not defending Marvel, Disney, or Star Wars. They have deserved some of the flack thrown at them by critics and things like that. But this kind of subset of folks, no matter what they do, they are going to trash whatever Disney, Marvel, DC does, and to some extent DC as well. Though DC has never gotten their footing enough to be that big conglomerate that Marvel, Star Wars, and Disney have been for the last decade or so. So when the trailers and stuff dropped, these folks were appalled that the showrunner for the sequel to the very popular, very nostalgic X-Men cartoon happened to be a gay black man. According to a lot of these folks, because I watched some of the stuff, I saw some stuff on Reels, TikTok, and what have you, that the new X-Men cartoon was going to be some woke trash. And I should emphasize that these folks had not seen anything yet. They all saw the same trailer we saw, and they were just putting it down because they dislike Disney, they dislike Marvel, they dislike Star Wars. But I'm going to admit, even though at that point last year, so it's not even that long ago, I was pretty down on Marvel and Star Wars as well. Not for any political reasons. My reasonings for being down on those were they weren't very good. And I'm not gonna champion something that's very good, regardless of any kind of political affiliations these things might have. If it's something that's supposed to entertain me and it's not good, I'm gonna call it out as not being good. I don't really care about my nostalgia or anything else. I want to spend my time with things that are good. But when your shtick is trashing Marvel and DC, even if things look cool, you would hope they'd at least be cautiously optimistic. But no, they were just going to trash it with whatever little breadcrumbs they could find. And because the showrunner happened to be gay, so of course they felt the X-Men were going to be some sort of political standpoint or anything like that. But I mean, just let's not ignore the fact that the X-Men was created as an allegory to racial tensions and the civil rights movement in the U.S. during the 1960s. I know a lot of people like to compare, say Professor X is Dr. King and Magneto's Malcolm X, but I believe Stan Lee and Jack Kirby have both said that wasn't what they were thinking at the time. It just happened to kind of work out that way. So it's always kind of rubbed me the wrong way when anyone in the modern age, I should say, calls the X-Men woke, because that's the whole point of the X-Men comics, even the like cartoon from the 90s. It was about acceptance, and that just because someone's different doesn't mean they're bad. And if you're different from the norm, those different people can be good, they can be bad, because we're all humans, or as Magneto likes to call the mutants, Homo superior, kind of thing. So that's kind of the lesson to learn with the X-Men, is that if kind of always the Marvel thing, if you got these great gifts, you can use them for good, you can use them for evil. With great power comes great responsibility, kind of thing like that. And they just kind of wanted to show, Marvel, just kind of wanted to show that in these comic books, that you just because someone's different doesn't automatically mean that they're bad, and there's good and bad people on both sides, kind of like what's shown in the comics. There's good mutants, bad mutants, good humans, bad humans, kind of thing like that. So when Disney fired him, I believe he was let go before the show actually aired. A lot of these people still had low hopes for season 1, but like, oh, maybe we'll get a good season, non-woke season 2, kind of thing like that. And real quickly, when Disney did let DeMayo go, this was their statement. Mr. DeMayo was terminated in March of 2024 following an internal investigation. The studio said in their statement, given the egregious nature of the findings, we severed ties with him immediately, and he has no further affiliation with Marvel. Now, I did pull that statement from Variety, but I believe that was a press release Disney released. And in the same article from Variety, DeMayo and his attorneys did deny it. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't have a quote from that. They just in the article, you read that him and his attorneys did deny that he was doing any wrongdoing. And in fact, at the time, he claimed that he was being let go because he used the X-Men in a Pride post that he had posted on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. So that's kind of the conflict there. And that's all I'm examining, the conflict. I'm not taking sides or anything like that, because I don't know who's in the right, who's in the wrong. I will say I tend to side with the little guy versus a big corporation in these things. But I don't have any of the facts or anything to that matter. So I'm not going to take sides here. However, though, when the show finally did premiere on Disney Plus, it was met with critical and audience praise. I want to say it's like a 99% on Rotten Tomato, and in the 90s, I want to say 91, 97 for the audience score. So people did like it, and unlike a lot of controversial kind of projects, no one seemed to rush to review bomb it, or since last year, Rotten Tomatoes gotten rid of those, I don't know. But that was the score as of recording this, August 2025. So it wasn't any more progressive in its themes than the original cartoon was. Like, again, it was still preaching equality, which, I mean, I don't know how you can be against equality, like just treating people like you want to be treated, like treating them like with respect and things like that. I don't know why that is a controversial topic, kind of thing like that. However, it's been over a year since DeMayo's firing, and I'm going to assume NDAs have expired in whatever kind of case there may be. So here's where kind of the DeMayo thing switches. So in a recent tweet by DeMayo, and I'm going to link the tweet in the description because I'm not using the entire tweet. I only pulled a couple points from it, so I will have the entire tweet linked in the description so you can read the full thing for yourself and some of the responses, because a lot of people responded to it. And to DeMayo's credit, whether they were praising him or against him, he did respectfully respond to everybody. So I would suggest, if you're interested in this topic and you've made it this far in this video, you probably are, to check out the tweet and everything like that. So the tweet goes, it's about pitch meetings. You basically sit in a room with Kevin Feige and Lou Desposito and try to pitch your movie while also realizing that Kevin just wants you to dictate his rush thoughts. Victoria used to be in these, but Kevin and Lou had so mistreated her that in one of my Blade meetings, she showed up with sugar cookies she baked to help improve morale. You're not even told to try to pitch ideas from the comics because Lou isn't a big comic guy, and it'll turn him off. Just kind of stop right there. That's kind of ridiculous to me because we as fans have our favorite comic stories and things like that we would like to see adapted to the big screen. I know DC has taken some big swings at that and missed, but doesn't mean you need to stop trying because X-Men 2 a lot of people loved. It was kind of a takeoff off of God Love Man Kills, which is a classic Chris Claremont story. Who wouldn't want to see like Fatal Attractions on the big screen, kind of thing like that? You see like Wolverine get his adamantium ripped out. Who wouldn't want to see Age of Apocalypse? I know seeing Deadpool versus Wolverine, seeing Weapon X Wolverine, Hugh Jackman as that, kind of like I would like to see an Age of Apocalypse thing. But yeah, so try not to pitch a story from the comics is kind of ridiculous to me, which kind of explain some of the titles we've gotten from comics that weren't very comic accurate, kind of thing like that. They just use some of the themes. So it goes on. There's no spark. There's no vision. Marvel is a slaughterhouse factory where you watch fresh meat get spoiled as it slowly makes its way through the assembly gears of mediocre thinking and this weird hatred for their own product. This is why at Rob Liefeld isn't just some bitter old man talking about comic book writers is met with open contempt. I had to fight to get the Lualds involved in X-Men 97, and even then the dismissive news with which Dana Vasquez Eberhardt spoke about them, basically telling me the OG creators were meant to be seen, not heard, to appease the fans. So yeah, so it's kind of like the original show was such a big hit. Why not have the original showrunners involved in some aspect to kind of like sync up the visions to make it very cohesive as a continuation from the original cartoon to the new cartoon aspect. So it does, and I will say if everything that he's saying is true in this, I'm not gonna take it as gospel kind of thing like this from DeMayo. But if all this is relatively true, it's kind of alarming with the heads of Marvel Studios in a sense. And there was a fan who asked about pre and post Endgame, and this was DeMayo's response to this. Look, I think Kevin and Marvel used to trust their directors and writers to do their jobs, which is to take. I should say the question was about how good Marvel was before Endgame, and then post Endgame is kind of slop. Look, I think Kevin and Marvel used to trust their directors and writers to do their jobs, which is to take our love of their IP and apply our decades worth of filmmaking craft to make them sing on screen. But success gets the folks, and soon you start getting high off your own supply. Appeasing actors and protecting your job becomes more important than the characters. As one Marvel employee told me, they make it clear that every good thought came from Kevin. He's the celebrity. So yeah, that's like I said, I'll have a link to the tweet in the description. Go read the tweet. Go read some of the responses and DeMayo's responses to the responses to get like a bigger picture. So now that DeMayo has set his sights on Marvel and Disney, those who used to chide him because he was the showrunner of X-Men 97 and he was going to make it some woke garbage, they're now celebrating him because he's taking on Feige, Marvel, and Disney. I was about to say DC. He's taking him to task. So now these people are celebrating. They're championing him and kind of like that. When they were kind of trashing him without really knowing his stuff before. This is just one of the many ways these types of channels just try to rage bait the audience. They found their niche when Star Wars kind of collapsed, when Disney kind of really dropped the ball on Star Wars, and misery loves company. You hate something, so you flock to the internet to find people who hate the same thing you hate, kind of thing like that. And so that creates this audience, and I don't have the subscribers, I don't have the view counts as some of these other channels, but that's not my goal here. Again, this is a hobby for me. I like positivity. I like to preach positivity. I like to show positivity. and just try to create a positive space on the internet, kind of thing like that. So you'll rarely see me, I don't want to say attack videos because I would never do something like that, but a very highly negative video. I mean, you could take this as a negative video. I see it as more analyzing the way some people try to weaponize their audience against something that they particularly have axe to grind against, and the audience might not, but they twist things and they make it like, see, I was right all along, kind of thing like that. So I don't really have a dog in this fight, like I said, between DeMayo and Marvel. I don't have all the facts, and it's something I'll keep an eye on, but I'm not going to fall down a rabbit hole on. I would definitely like to see the outcome of all of this. But I will say, kind of my ignorance on DeMayo leading up to X-Men 97, kind of thing. I tried not to let those other voices like influence my thoughts. Kind of thing. My only worry with X-Men 97 was just how bad Marvel Disney had been for a couple of years, that they were going to take this cartoon that I loved as a child and make it terrible. That was like more my like thing. And then, you know, again, those negative voices you hear sometimes will influence your thinking too. Like, they're already making a bad thing, and then you start to gravitate towards the negativity, and you got to try to not do that. I kind of went into X-Men 97 with cautious optimism, kind of thing like that. And I let it get several episodes in before I started watching it. I want to say it was about 5 episodes in before I started watching it, partially because I was too busy, but also I wanted to wait till I got a census whether it was worth my time. I kind of do that a lot with Disney Plus shows. I wait to see what they are a few episodes in. If people are like, oh yeah, it's pretty good, then I'll, you know, devote my time to it, kind of thing. But it is kind of funny how people would cherry pick certain things from the trailer to try to make this scene terrible, and then they also ignore the fact that DeMayo sided with Henry Cavill on the whole Witcher thing, because he sided with Henry because Henry wanted to stay true to the books and the lore and the video games, the things that made The Witcher possible, when the showrunners and Netflix wanted to go in a different direction, kind of thing like that. So, I mean, had I known all of that, because like I said, I didn't realize DeMayo had worked on The Witcher or any of those things until I did research for this. Had I known all of that, I definitely would have had more optimism going into X-Men 97, thinking like, well, he sided with Cavill on The Witcher because he wanted The Witcher to stay close to the books. So if this guy really does love the X-Men, he's probably going to want to keep this as close to the original show as possible, and maybe give us, you know, some comic book storylines in future episodes and seasons, kind of like that. So with that said, if he didn't do anything wrong, it's a shame he's no longer there to guide the show, because I really liked X-Men 97. I like the direction it went. I like how it's setting up the Horsemen of the Apocalypse, possibly Gambit as Death, like he was in one of the Apocalypse series in the comic books. And ironic, or coincidentally, Gambit's on my screen behind me. So we're going to get new showrunners, so it'll be interesting to see where it goes there. So it's going to be one of those things that we'll, you know, we're just going to have to wait and see for. Probably a year from now, if we're lucky, we'll get it in 2026, the way production is on things these days, taking 2-3 years, kind of thing like that. So closing, I just want to say, like, come to your own opinions on these things. Try not to let the negative voices creep in, and try to go with your best judgment. What I always like to do, I like to curate my own kind of critics on like YouTube and things like that I trust when they say something's good, something's bad, or mediocre, kind of thing like that. Just because, you know, you have your taste, and everyone's tastes are a little bit different, but if you find people with similar taste when it comes to entertainment, you know, generally speaking, if they like something, you'll like it. If they dislike it, you'll dislike it. So you don't have to, you know, waste $20 on a movie ticket, or in my case, with a family of 4, soon to be 5, $80 to $100 on a movie ticket. So I won't be taking the baby to a movie, obviously, but eventually the baby's going to get bigger and want to see movies, kind of thing like that. So it gets kind of expensive. So you do want to find critics you trust to do that. Like one critic I always like to point out, well, 2 that I really, really trust when it comes to things is Jeremy Johns on YouTube and Red Letter Media. Jeremy Johns is definitely my first go-to kind of guy when it comes to movies. Red Letter Media, they've gotten a little, well, I shouldn't say they've kind of been cynical. So when it comes to like big blockbusters, generally speaking, if they say it's good, it's worth a watch. kind of thing like that with their cynicism. But sometimes they could, like, they've trashed like big blockbuster like Marvel DC movies that I've enjoyed, so it's not one to one. But Jeremy Johns, usually if Jeremy likes a movie and I go see it, I tend to like it too, and vice versa. If he doesn't like it and I see it, I tend to not like it too. I don't let his opinion influence me, but I've seen that me and Jeremy kind of sync up a lot on what we like and dislike. I've disagreed with some of his reviews before, but most of the time it's like, yeah, if Jeremy likes something, I tend to go and enjoy it. Kind of same with Mr. Sunday Movies. Those guys down in Australia, they kind of have similar taste to me too. So it's all good. Find your own kind of critics to who share your interests, and you'll probably won't go wrong that often seeing a movie. But again, I'd like to thank you for watching this movie. Again, don't let the negative voices creep in. Kind of enjoy your own thing, and when something new comes out, just be like, go with it in an open mind. If like critics you like say they enjoy it, there's a good chance you'll enjoy it. If they didn't enjoy it, you probably won't enjoy it. But if something does look interesting to you and you want to see it, I say check it out, especially if you can do it at like a matinee inexpensively. And if it's on a streaming thing, and you already have that streaming service, doesn't cost you any extra to watch it, check it out. You might enjoy it. Right now I'm enjoying Alien Earth. I watched the first episode. I thought it was pretty good. I'm going to check out the second episode later today. I'm not going to do any reviews on it, but I'll probably do a short. Like, oh yeah, it's pretty good. Kind of thing like that. I think that's how I'll do reviews from now on. I'll do them on shorts unless I'm doing like a big video game thing. But now I'm rambling. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.